You know John Robbins. If you don't, well, he's one of the most influential voices in exposing the connections of meat and dairy and health and environment. He was actually the would-be heir to the Baskin-Robbins fortune, he being the son of co-founder Irv Robbins. I welcome John Robbins back to Go Vegan with Bob Linden. How are you doing, John?
Fine. Nice to be back with you, Bob.
It's a pleasure to have you here. John, it almost seems like a different world from the last time I've spoken to you, with so many changes going on in the economy and the world. And what are you thinking about what's going on here?
Well, I think we have entered an economic climate that is unlike any that most of us have ever known. I think the economic world as we have known it is over. And I think it's a time of great uncertainty and confusion for a lot of people. And I think it's a necessary correction, because our society has been so debt-based and so oblivious to the real costs of what we were doing in so many ways. And I think this is a return to reality that's taking place. It's going to be harsh in some ways. It already is in some ways. But it's an opportunity also for us to create more earth-friendly lives, simpler lives, closer to reality, closer to each other. Eating lower on the food chain, a more plant-based diets is a big part of what I call the new good life. Because the old good life, well, we know what that was. That was shop till the planet drops.
Constant consumerism, and you know, if you really think about it, constant consumerism means constant environmental destruction. So,
yes. and so really, even though it's a painful time in some ways, it's also what we've been praying for and needing, because this orgy of mass consumption could not continue indefinitely, and so now we're seeing it ending. And in its place, there will arise a new economy. A simpler one, more locally based, more based in basic human needs, less based in corporate greed. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for all of us to make ourselves healthier and more human in the process.
So how do you think we get past our fears, though, right? It's such an uncertain time.
Yes, well, that's our work, is to deal with those fears, not be afraid of them, but to recognize that this is a time of instability and uncertainty, so we're going to be anxious, some of it. That's just how we human beings are in times of great change. But we can bond with each other. We can connect to what's real, what gives us life and support. We can affirm our powers to respond creatively to the challenges rather than buckle under them. We can cope, not mope. And, you know, we can do healthy things. Mm-hmm. And again, I say, and I know this has been a big theme of your show, Bob, always, and I applaud you for it, is to eat lower on the food chain. Eat closer to the earth. Eat a plant-based diet. Get your protein from plants. You don't need animals to do so. You don't have to have a middle animal. You go straight to the source.
Right. Eliminate the middle animal, like, you know, the fish oil revolution that's gone on. I mean, depleting the oceans and all, and really, it's the algae that you know, have the essential fatty acids. So,
sure, long food chains in the oceans, and they originate in the algae. There's no question about it. In phytoplankton and other very, very small plant forms. And that's sort of the truth about life on Earth, is we are all dependent on these long food chains and vast webs of life. But we've been decimating them. We've been overfishing the oceans. We've been polluting the oceans. We've been treating the oceans like garbage dumps. And so those of us who care about the Earth have to ask ourselves, how can we live in these uncertain times under these new economic conditions so that we can thrive and prosper in a way that allows others also to thrive and prosper? Gandhi said, live simply so others may simply live. Maybe if we eat simply, others may simply eat.
Mm-hmm. So what would be ideal for you then? I mean, and looking at the situation and saying, okay, we have to make this an opportunity. What if you ruled the world? What would we start doing? What do you see for our rebuilt society, our new society that's coming out of the ashes of the old here.
Well, there's so many ways we can tilt the playing field so that it makes it easier for people to do the right thing, the good thing, the healthy thing, the earth-friendly thing, the compassionate thing. As is, we've tilted in the other direction, which is why, for example, organic food costs more. We've subsidized agrochemicals. But I think we should go the other route. I think we should tax agrochemicals and use that revenue to subsidize organic agriculture. I think we should tax junk food and use that revenue to subsidize fresh vegetables and fruits so that they are less expensive and then easier for people who don't have a lot of money to get them and eat healthfully. That'll bring down our medical costs. That'll bring down the cost of doing business. That'll bring down insurance costs. That's how you create a safe and healthy economy. You take care of people, and you help people to do the healthy thing. Meanwhile, at the individual level, we've all got to shift to self-care as our primary care. Preventive medicine. The leading cause of bankruptcies in the United States today is our medical costs. You don't want to go down that route.
We talked about that last week on the show. So the leading cause of bankruptcies are medical costs, and I've had T. Colin Campbell on the show saying that maybe 90% of horrible disease is related to meat and dairy.
Yes.
Then therefore 90% of bankruptcies and all of these foreclosures are directly related to meat and dairy.
It's true. You know, you want to plug your big leaks. Economically, you want to see where you're wasting money and not getting value. And it's ironic that we think of meat and high-fat dairy products and so forth as the reward of our affluence. We identify that with the good life. But really, we get diseases of affluence when we eat that way. We get diabetes, we get heart disease, we get many forms of cancer that would otherwise not occur. We eat ourselves to death. And we eat ourselves to bankruptcy in the process.
Right.
And all for the taste of something that we don't need in the first place. I really wonder sometimes, about humanity. And I think we have an opportunity. It's not guaranteed that we're going to make it. But we do have an opportunity to make choices that bring us in the direction of a healthier life and a more frugal life and a more caring life. And when we make those choices, we deserve to survive and thrive, and we will.
Absolutely. So how about a new book from you in the future? Well,
I do have one I'm working on, and I just actually mentioned the title in passing. It's called The New Good Life. The New Good Life, how you can thrive on less money than you ever dreamed possible.
How timely. Well, nobody's...
We all need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to be able to afford the old health care, right? I mean, $250 billion a year in this country just toward heart disease alone.
And if you think, and this is part of the old good life, you could just simply indulge, and then if you get into problems, there'll be a doctor to save you. There'll be a pill for every ill. It's as though we have believed that MD stood for medical deity. But it doesn't, and there won't be a pill for every ill. And if you don't take care of yourself now, there will be repercussions. There will be consequences, and you won't like them. But if you do take care of yourself now, if you eat healthfully and consciously and conscientiously, your body will thank you for the rest of your life. Your wallet will thank you for the rest of your life. And your heart will be well because you'll be in tune with the well-being of all creatures, and that may be the greatest significance of all.
Right, definitely. Look at that. Out of kindness to animals, like not eating them, would come all good. Right?
It's true. It's amazing when we are kind, genuinely kind to others, other animals, other people, other kinds of people. People maybe who don't look like us, don't have the same colored skin as us, or the same lifestyles as us, but we go beyond tolerance to genuine kindness. The consequences to our experience of life is phenomenal.
Please support this show so that we can bring voices like John Robbins to the mainstream airwaves. These are the people who need exposure at this time. These are the ones with the solutions. You can donate online at goveganradio.com.